Whoa. Okay, got my princess in front of me. Bedroom cardio, that's all we know.
Against all odds, we'll talk about your little injury story, and then you and Gabe going viral.
Hey, beaches are awesome, okay? Beaches are awesome, I'll tell you what. Yes, they are. Cardio is just a walking highlight reel.
The best part of it was Tyson taking off the tape that night.
Tell us all about it.
He wants me to help him take the tape off. It was like taking a Band-Aid off a little kid. Screaming and crying. So finally he's like, just leave the room, I gotta do it.
Just leave the room.
I hear him like screaming as he's like ripping it off fast. And then he's like, okay, they're gonna tape me again tomorrow. He's like, I need you to help me. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, can you shave me down there? So yeah, Manscaped was used.
The life of a pro athlete.
Right? Big shout out to Lacy, her first gold on the PPA tour. Woo, woo, woo.
She doubled up and gets 2 of them.
I was her first. Yes, okay? I was her first.
Thank you for being my first, Ty.
Bada bing, bada boom, girl. Come on. What's going on? My name is Tyson McGuffin. Welcome to the McGuffin Show. I got 2 special guests. I say 3 here. Whoa. Okay, got my princess in front of me. Bedroom cardio, that's all we know. I got my man K-Mac right here and this lovely beast, Lacy. Lacy, how we doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you, Miss Lacy. Lacy and Meg and I flew back yesterday. It is 5 a.m. right now in Melbourne. It's not Melbourne, by the way. It's Melbourne.
Melbourne. Don't mispronounce it.
Get it right. So today we're going to be talking all about Australia, all the fun things that we did down there. Meg and I went to the men's Aussie Open final, which was awesome. Right, Mama?
Yeah, the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yep.
Shout out to Grand Slam tennis tours, but we'll talk more about that.
Taught some clinics down there, ate and drank our way through the city. Let's see, what else? Played at a few different pickleball facilities like the Jar, Pickle Play, Pickleball Palace, and just had lots of fun down there. I'll tell you what, I didn't play or played pretty well. I'll tell you what.
Against all odds, we'll talk about your little injury story, and then you and Gabe going viral for some unplanned meaning.
Beaches are awesome. Okay, beaches are awesome. I'll tell you what. Yes, they are. Cardio is just a walking highlight reel.
Oh, he is. He doesn't take himself seriously at all.
He doesn't at all.
So he's like perfect for that. So the whole thing was gold.
So Lace, since you've never been on the pod here, can you mind just giving us your story, kind of where you're from, and if you played college tennis, where you're at now, all that good stuff?
Sure can. Yeah, so I played a little bit of tennis. I played a little bit of everything growing up, but tennis was my main going into high school, and I was decent, but not like D1 tennis level. So I wanted to go to a big school and study engineering. Ended up at USC. Played club tennis there. Was like the captain of the club team while I was there. And then pretty much I got into pickle like right as I was finishing high school. Actually, we got some courts in my local country club that I started playing at with my dad, and was pretty into it, but didn't have anywhere to play while I was at USC. So I would just play a ton anytime I went to visit home in Texas. I'm from San Angelo, Texas, by the way.
Got it.
So anytime I went home, I would play a lot, but that was like, once or twice a year for 2015 to 2021 or so. And I graduated in 2020, middle of the pandemic. I was looking for something to do. Found the LA pickleball community and got super obsessed. And someone at a local park, I just was playing rec, and she was like, "You should try going pro." And I was like, I didn't know that was a thing, but
I didn't know that was a thing, but sign me up.
I was gonna say sign me up.
But I'm in. I started playing tournaments, got better, started playing some 4-0s, 4-5, 5-0s. Was winning those, and then just went pro, and here we are.
Too easy, huh? I'll tell you what. Most of the Aussies down under, a phrase that they love to use is easy. Okay?
Too easy.
Easy.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Easy.
Reckon, mate, too easy. So Lace, so you are how old?
I'm 28.
28 years young, huh?
Nice.
28. Nearing that big 3-0.
A big
In her prime.
3-0. She is in her prime. I'll tell you what.
I hope so. I'd say so.
And Lace, tell me about your experience down under. First time there, correct?
Yeah, first time in Australia. Honestly loved. I loved every bit of it. The people were great. The
People are
cities
great.
were fun. There's so much to do. Uh, I wasn't expecting. Viv Glosman and I, she was kind of my travel buddy. We went about a week and a half early before the PPA, and we started in Sydney. And we spent about 5 days there, being just utter tourists. We didn't touch pickleball while we were there. Uh, like I said, yeah, we took some time off before the tournament, and maybe that might be my new tournament prep. But
Take 10 days off, have no expectations, and see what
I
happens.
swear
Right?
that's the
exactly.
Play free.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, took some time off. Just did a whole bunch of things, lots of walking in Sydney and touring around. Loved Sydney. The harbor is incredible and beautiful, and we did like a helicopter tour and went to the opera and walked the bridge and did all the thing. Took the ferry to Manly Beach. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It was all incredible, but one of the main things I didn't expect about Australia was how like multicultural it is.
For sure.
Uh,
Mixed bag of people all
it's
over.
yeah, I mean, especially the Asian influence is pretty strong because I didn't realize, theoretically, I guess it's pretty close to Asia, at least relative to, everywhere else.
Right.
So lots of really good Asian food, and just kind of Asian little like pockets, like a Chinatown, Thai town, whatever. Um, so love that part. And I'm a huge fan of Asian food. Any Japanese, Korean, Chinese,
Sign us up. For
give it
sure.
to me. So, um, yeah, you can find all that and more there. And yeah, it was cute. I loved Australia. Everyone was great.
Yeah, we were really drawn in by that too, like how it's like a total melting pot of like so many different cultures. Kind of remind me a little bit of New York City, but like way more relaxed and like more natural. And we realized that like we were looking up, and it's like a little over 30% of their population is all immigrants from other countries. So, but what's cool is like a lot of them have been immigrated when they were young. And so you have like all these different cultures and all these different backgrounds, but they all have like this Aussie accent, which is
it's so wild.
which is so cool. I mean, we met people from all over.
The barber.
Yeah, we went to a barber shop.
Guy was Iraq.
Yeah,
Moved
he was
there when
from
he was 5.
From Iraq.
And had like the thickest Aussie accent. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. But yeah, it seems like everybody's pretty accepting of each other, and it all just melts really big together in the city. And food by far, I mean, we always love
Food
to
was
eat our
stupid.
way through any city. And so that was like one of the best
Korean,
parts.
Chinese, sushi. Come on, so good.
100%.
And K-Mac, you've spent some time down there.
Yeah, I actually had two of my college tennis buddies that were from Australia, and so in my college days, I spent Christmas break visiting one of my buddies. Shout out to Anthony Karlovic. We still keep in touch a little bit, but yeah, same time of year that you guys went during the Australian Open. It's so cool to be our winter here, and then just have the. I'm gonna agree with Gabe. The beaches are really amazing over there. So no, awesome city. Just lively, like the bar scene, the going out scene is just electric. A big time sports city, educated and enthusiastic, and you felt that even from the live stream here in the
Oh,
States,
the
and just
commentators
how
were getting
excited the
after it.
crowds were. Yeah, the commentators were on point. Like we talked about,
They were.
they knew what they were talking about, and everything sounds at least 50% better with that Australian accent.
It
So I
does.
was, I
It
was,
does.
I was glued to the TV the whole week.
Shout out to Morgan Evans.
No, for sure.
Voice of an angel.
We talked about this a little bit too, but their humor there, like when Tyson was teaching clinics,
It's
he always
X-rated.
has
They love banter.
yeah. So Tyson always has like a few one-liners. And Kyle, you know this when he's teaching that like,
Premature ejaculation. They all ate that one up.
or pecker down. Pecker down is one that I always like scan the crowd to make sure nobody's like super offended, and they're like, no, bring it on. All of that's super accepted here. So So that was super good.
Yeah, you always
Did
hold
you
your
guys?
breath at those clinics to see if they register or not.
Right.
Hey, did you guys drive at all, Lacey or Kyle, when you guys were down there?
God, no.
No.
God,
No.
how
Oh my
scary
God.
is
I
that?
know, it's so
Oh,
scary.
everything's backwards. I
Everything's
can't.
right.
You even walk on the wrong, like the left side of the street. I don't even know that I'm doing that in the U.S. where if you're walking towards someone, you automatically take a step to the right, and everyone goes to the right, and that's how you go by someone. In Australia, everything is on the left. The escalators are on the left.
Right.
You walk on the left side of the sidewalk. It's very weird.
That was very weird for sure. We noticed the
That's
same
why
thing.
Tyson played the left in men's, going
Yeah,
backwards.
Right.
Right. God, I like it over there. I'll tell you what.
One of the things that one little
that is
story.
good.
So the power conversion, like obviously we knew that like going over there we'd need to have little conversions for anything we were plugging in, which was great until I went to curl my hair, which happened one day. It was terrible. So I plug in the converter, didn't realize that it doesn't necessarily convert what goes to your curling iron. Totally burned off a whole section of my hair. It was a pretty traumatic event. That was like 2 days in.
Smelled like fried hair.
So if you
in
go,
the bathroom.
so if you
I
go
did.
to Australia, just buy a curling iron there. Don't mess.
Don't
mess
look at the
with
back of Meg's head right
yeah,
now.
don't do it. So bad.
Well, I never noticed, so there's that.
Perfect.
And Lace, tell me, what'd you think about the level of Aussie players down there?
I think obviously they have much less people, and they're a few years behind the U.S. as far as like getting started into pickleball.
For sure.
Lots of promise though. I mean, obviously the Americans went what almost swept very nearly swept the medal stand in all pro events, but
Clean
except
sweep.
for shout out Summer Delavana. Um, but I think lots of good. A lot of what I saw was impressive and was pretty good. Shout out especially like Rose Vanderweek, I think is her last name.
Yep.
Who
And
played with
mixed.
Zane. We played in mixed. Yeah,
Rose has got some
she
game.
was solid.
And Rose made the
Uh,
women's singles final, correct?
who was Sagan?
I said
Summer made
Oh, sorry,
Summer
Summer.
made
Got
the
it.
Summer Delbona made the singles final. But yeah, I saw quite a few, especially on the girls' side, that had some really nice stuff. And then obviously like there's Joey Wild and I don't know. I didn't pay attention to the men as
Men.
much, to be honest, but I didn't. You tell me what'd you think?
Yeah, I think Joey was definitely one of their better men's players. Kind of cool. So Tom Evans and Helena just signed with PPA US, which is super cool.
Yeah.
Seems
Yeah.
like most of the pro Aussie players down there are all dying to get to the States and obviously play on the big tour. So that was like the common
Right.
theme. Yeah, we played Joey and Zane. Was that in the semis?
Yeah.
Joey was solid. Kind of cool too. Joey played at the Pickleball Grand Slam at the Aussie Open, which is awesome.
Yeah.
It was like MLP style format. On court 3 at the Aussie Open venue, they turned it into 2 pickleball courts. Super nice. Even the referees had like a little
That's
chair.
kind of funny. They had little chairs, like miniature
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
chairs. They weren't as high as tennis, obviously, but
But anyhow, Joey's team ended up winning it, and they each person took home $10K.
in
which
US,
is-
yeah,
Which is pretty stinking good,
for sure.
right?
Easy.
Not
Right.
too
Easy.
easy.
But I guess the feedback I got too, and this kind of makes sense, like Joey, Zane, I think was telling us that Joey actually spent some time in Texas.
Yeah, Joey
and
lived in Austin for like a year and a
Oh,
half
that's
and
right.
played
Yeah.
with that
Yeah.
group down there and then moved back home.
So I think it speaks to like just being around other talent, getting reps. And one of the common themes down there that we kept hearing about, which means we just got to get over there, Kyle especially, but they just talked about having like no instruction. Like there's no real, curriculum, or nobody's really over there teaching at a high level. If someone wants high level instruction, some of those pro players are coming to the States and working with coaches and then going back over there. So I think it is probably only a matter of time as instruction gets over there that they start getting better at a rapid pace for sure.
But just
Did
shows
you
too,
say
like no matter how important or how good you are, you need to see the level. You need to see it in
Yeah,
person to be able to realize, what you need to add to your game, what works, what doesn't work. And if you can see the level, then you can go back home and you can train what you need to, to get ready. But without seeing it at least once, it's really hard to just be that level or be that good just on talent alone.
yeah. And I was talking to Tom Evans about that. I practiced some with Tom the first couple days. And the first day or two, I was kind of blowing Tom up, and then by day 3, Tom had kind of gotten used to the pace and used to the level. And but no, it just seems like the pace of the game, obviously at the highest level, is a touch bit different than what the pros are seeing, down in Australia.
do you think they were all pretty like stoked to play us and to kind of see where they stacked up
Yeah,
and
yeah, of course.
Sure.
they were like chomping at the bit a little bit to see if they could take a game or just see what they could do,
For sure.
taking
Well,
shots.
I feel like pickleball too, like even at the highest level, like it doesn't look when you're watching it like it's quite as good or quite as fast until you're in it and playing it. So I'm sure they were excited, but I'm sure, I'm sure there was a couple of them that were maybe just a touch overconfident. Like when you're watching on the stream, you're like,
Right.
I can hang with these guys. Like
Sure.
I'd win that hand battle. But when you're on it, in it, it's a different
Brand new
story
ball game.
sometimes. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the fans were saying that too, how crazy it was to see it in person, because they're all obsessed. They've been watching pickleball TV, they watch all the matches online, but to get that in person look at the pros, which just goes to show like we have to work to like showcase it better on TV to really show tennis or to show viewership. But I think in tennis you see a little bit of that as well, where it's hard to kind of capture the full. I mean, watching tennis live, like getting to do that.
Yeah, front row too, like the level of. It was crazy. So Sinner rides the baseline where Zverev is like 5 feet off the baseline. And yeah, just like the pure power that you see and like the thumping off the strings and then like the timing that Sinner can have with like riding the baseline and taking the ball early and like taking full cuts. I mean, it was just, it was nuts.
Impressive.
To see. And Sinner just runs down every ball. The guy's got an endless gas tank. He's got a lively arm.
Right. But how he runs it down and then he's so collected, like in the moment before he just
so
takes
balanced.
a full swing in it.
Zverev just kind of broke down. Poor guy. His forehand broke down. I think he had like 24 aces, so he definitely served better, but that was like the only category that he actually won. The match started at like 7. Match got done like around 10:30. Shout out to Grand Slam Tennis for getting us pretty sweet tickets. And the gentleman from Grand Slam Tennis, his name's Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew was there. It was really cool. I think if anybody's looking for like a bucket list trip, like we got there at the Australian Open, they cover all the majors and maybe even more tournaments than that. But they'll take you in, get you killer seats, and it's like a whole experience, right? A lot of times, I think you get to meet a player.
Yeah, they do
they
tennis
do
clinics. You go to dinners, do
Yeah.
different activities. He's had his business since like 1998. So bro, he goes to all the Masters. He goes to all the Grand Slams. He's seen like all the best of the best. He gets like the best seats. I'm like, what a freaking killer job, right?
Yeah. Living the good life. I'm jealous.
Yeah, pretty cool. And it just got me thinking about what he actually mentioned this about like once pickle gets super big, doing some kind of fantasy pickleball camps like around majors and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Smart.
Same idea. Meet some players, get like a behind the scenes look at things, and just kind of go all out. If you're gonna do it, go all out.
For sure. So we got to go to the Aussie Open. Obviously, we got a tour around the venue. The venue's gorgeous, kind of caters to everybody. They have a DJ, they have a beer garden, they had a padel court set up, they had a pickleball attorney going.
Pretty cool. Australian Open it was the first time, I believe, at a slam that this has happened, but they actually put together a pickleball tournament. So it was put on by Tennis Australia with a $100K prize pool.
Yeah.
And it was a team style event, like similar to like an MLP. But so that was the first time that they did that. So it was kind of cool because they turned one whole court into, two pickleball courts?
Pickleball courts, yeah.
And so as you were walking in, it was free, obviously, but if you had a grounds pass, you could go check it out. And I know, I think when the Djokovic match ended early, I heard that it, like, everybody went and filled the pickleball area. So it was cool exposure, I think, for pickleball. But Yola did a little partnership with Tennis Australia. And so that's how we ended up there doing some media and stuff. So it was cool. We went and you just play played in with some like amateurs and stuff. And then you got to do.
CJ was there with me.
Yep, Colin was there, and you guys went back, and it was cool. They did the player media with them, so same media that the tennis players do, so like the headshots and the quick little interview. So we'll drop some clips of that, but yeah, that was super cool. It was fun to see the team, and then we got the tour, which was
got to walk down like Champions Hall, which is pretty sweet, and then that was the day of the men's final, so I got to walk in the locker room. When I walked in the locker room, Zverev was in there. He didn't see me, but as I was walking out, Sinner was walking in, and Sinner gave me like a head nod, and I kid you not, it like made my year. It totally did. It totally did. Carrot Top. Carrot Top. It's funny. He doesn't look all that big, but like when you're up
tall.
and close, he's very tall. But anyhow, great day. That was Sunday. We flew in, Saturday night or Saturday
Saturday
midday?
afternoon, got in.
Nice little 19-hour flight down there. Not going to lie, the flight down there was brutal. Flight coming back was worse, but...
Brutal, yeah. It was a long flight going down.
Yeah. Lacy said that it was easier coming back than going there. Don't know if I agree with her.
I just had I was like 2 legs instead of 4 on the way down there, so...
She's riding the high of a couple golds.
Right.
And
That really helps.
Big shout out to Lacy, her first gold on the PPA tour. Woo, woo, woo.
She doubles up
for
and
being
gets
my
2 of them.
first tie.
I was her first. Yes. Okay. I was her first.
It was Gabe's first single title as well.
Don't talk about Gabe.
I'm sorry.
Screw Gabe. Ruined my triple crown.
Gabe.
Congrats,
That
Gabe.
asshole.
He's way too nice. So after he wins,
Gabe kept telling me that he was sorry. I'm like, bro,
kept
don't
apologizing.
be sorry. It's
We're like,
fine.
what in the world?
You outplayed me. Well, and the funny thing too is that Gabe is so talented. So Gabe, early on in the week, I asked Gabe if he wanted to practice in singles, and he says that he doesn't practice singles and that he didn't want to practice singles. And so, I on Thursday, Gabe ends up playing Kwong in the semis, beats Kwong in 3. The very next day, Gabe's telling me during men's doubles that he was that his body was all beat up and he's super sore. And so
Gabe's not one to do recovery work. Okay,
no,
we'll just be honest.
this guy. So
He's too young for that, right?
He shows up singles day with a pizza.
Nutella pizza.
Yeah. He literally, so he just eats that all day long, nothing else. Like, doesn't take care of his diet, doesn't take care of his body. And so Friday rolls around, he's super sore. He's telling me to like take over and take all these balls off his inside foot. And I'm like, Gabe, I'm 35, you are 19. and
What are we doing?
Anyhow, come Sunday, Gabe's body is trashed, right? And so going into singles, I thought Gabe would have like nothing left. And Gabe obviously put on a freaking highlight reel and played out of his head. I'm like, how does this kid do this? Doesn't take care of himself.
No.
Tells me he's all beat up and then kicks my ass during singles.
No, and if you watch him walking in between points, like he's like stretching his knees. He's barely walking out there, but somehow strings it all together. It's pretty crazy.
Just
But
enough adrenaline, you know.
Must be nice to be 19, I'll tell you what.
yeah,
Just the
for
next
sure.
honestly, he's just the next level shot maker. To be able to do that without being 100% physically, just what he's able to do with the ball is pretty crazy.
Well, and to be honest too, like the whole crowd, like it was such a long day, being 2-5 match, and then the girls, you guys went 4 games,
4,
so
yeah.
it was a freaking long day. And so by that singles match, even
was
the
dead.
crowd,
There was no
was
energy.
dead. Nobody was making a noise. It was just like not depressing, but it was a little bit. The energy was super low.
Aussie crowd had more than enough.
Yeah. Everybody was tired.
Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. So, Lace, how does it feel to get your first gold?
Oh, it feels good.
Winning is nice, you know that?
Long time coming.
Dude. Yeah, exactly. It feels like it's been a while. I've been stuck on these silvers for a bit. I feel like I've made quite a few finals at this point, and it's hadn't been able to win one yet. So
Nice to get
to
over the hump.
win not 1 but 2, I'm beyond stoked.
Good for you.
Obviously couldn't be happier.
Right. No, I haven't.
Con
I haven't won since I think it was TOC 2023.
Yeah.
When you triple crown,
yeah.
Triple crown. I was hoping, obviously,
You almost
to
went-
get a.
Triple,
Back to
triple.
back. Oh,
Yep.
back to
Back to
back.
back triple.
Take
I
a
hate it.
year and a
Triple,
half
triple.
off. But
Well, so we didn't get any titles last year, which is the first year
I
in
made
your full history that you haven't gotten a title. And so
Yeah,
to start the
I
year
made a
off
couple
with two
finals.
is pretty sweet.
For sure,
It feels
for sure.
pretty good.
There's just there's a handful of people in the U.S. that like to spoil our days, and
I know, guys. I know.
it's
Don't
really
go to
annoying,
Australia. It's
but
awful. Don't do it. Leave it to the rest of them. But honestly, though, you guys, I felt like in the mixed, especially. I mean, Tardio and Jesse are.
That's
you
like the
know,
best. That's like the best that I've seen Jessie play. Honestly.
Yeah.
Um.
Really good team.
Yeah. I mean, she was hitting hybrid drops. She was lobbing cross. Bringing some offense out of the air, and it seemed like Gabe was kind of on like an island and like pretty stiff and like not wanting to move a whole lot. And then I kept telling Lacy, I'm like, hey, we have plenty of time. We have plenty of time, even though we had no time. And we just lost the first two games.
Now or never.
Oh, too funny. But yeah, we ended up, climbing our way back. Yeah, won a tight game 3, won a tight game 4.
I guess
and then,
we were down 9-6 in the third. 2 games, 9-6 in the third,
Oh my
don't be
and
God.
we
counting
were
us
like,
out.
plenty of time, bro. Plenty of time.
Plenty of time, Lace. Hang in there, baby. We are the better team. That was something that I kept telling Lacy. I kept saying, hey, we are the better team. Okay, believe it, trust it.
That's something I always tell Tyson when he's like freaking out on me on the sideline. He's like, "What the fuck am I doing here?" That whole thing. But as he's staring at
Lacy's heard
me,
it all.
I always tell him, "I'm like, it's gonna come. Be patient. It's coming. It's coming." He probably thinks
I love that. No, I don't know. I'd like to point out one. I don't know. One of the reasons I like playing with you, Ty, is you're always gritty. You're gonna trust it. It's like I feel like I've had some of my best comebacks playing with you because I no I guess take it from Meg. It's you just gotta trust it. It's gonna come around even though if you don't start well.
It's not about
Don't
how you
get in your own
start.
head about it.
Well, and
Stay positive.
I think I kept telling you too that like Jesse and Gabe were going to come back down to earth, soon enough.
Yeah.
And once their level just kind of dropped a hair, then we kind of found our way back in.
Yeah,
This
we just have
shows
to
how important
stay.
it is. Yeah, yeah, to have personalities that align, right? Like
For
each of
sure.
you, if you look at your stories, right? Like you didn't just each of you come into pickleball and we're at the top right away. Like you had to grind it out, you gutted it out, and like having that match experience and being able to stay together in those big moments is huge, separate from your skill sets. You know.
Right. Very much so. And Lace, if you don't mind, just talk us through your women's final. So you guys 1-4. You guys played Tyra and Elise.
Yeah. Women's is my favorite, so I will admit to have done a little bit more prep going into that one than mixed.
Don't tell me that, okay? Ever.
I mean, hey, a win is a win. You get both. It's fine.
At least that was your first.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
true. It
yeah.
did come.
So Viv and I have played, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 times now. We get along pretty well off court.
Are you guys playing the rest of the year, by the way? Or are you guys just playing a
No,
couple?
actually, I think we have one more on the calendar right now. We'll
Okay.
see. We'll see what we figure out. But I'll get back to this. But I'm still kind of trying to figure out what my ideal right side queen in women's looks like. Whether it's like a Viv style, like bring the aggression, like, and then we just kind of overpower people, or if it's more like a Jade, give me like a
Right.
steady lefty who's gonna make balls and set up stuff. There's pros and cons to both, obviously.
For sure.
But anyway, yeah, prepping for Elise and Tyra, we knew it was going to be a pretty epic match. They make a ton of balls, especially playing with a Franklin this weekend. Or last weekend. It was, we were going to have some pretty wild points where we were just banging overheads at the kitchen line, and they're sitting at the baseline just throwing shit up and uh, making balls. And it did end up going quite a bit like that, but. I think shout out Ryan DeWidgeon and the lab. He gave us some tips, some very specific strategy to kind of go into that match. And Viv and I had played Tyra and Elise once before, back in Vegas in like October or something, and ended up losing to them in two. But we had a good game plan, and I don't know. I think Viv and I, once we get to the kitchen line, we're pretty comfy, and that's kind of our biggest struggle generally, is getting to the kitchen line, but it's ever so slightly easier with the Franklin. So getting to the kitchen and then kind of moving the ball around once we got to the kitchen, uh, it seemed like we were winning most of those kitchen battles, and uh, I think that was kind of our main edge there.
Yeah, probably kind of like a double-edged sword with the Franklin because, yeah,
Right.
Elise and Tyra are so good on defense, and now that's enhanced with putting the ball away. But like you said, they're great at getting to the kitchen line as well. And if that's an area where you've struggled, that's negated as well. So you can go into that match expecting to get there a high percentage of the time, and then just kind of putting all your strategy into, all right, what are our kitchen patterns, and go from there.
Yeah, I'm interested in your thoughts on the Franklin tie. When Viv and I were talking about this, I don't know if the Franklin was overall, because I think in theory you would think it's probably not as good for our game because we like to hit the ball hard and put balls away, and a faster ball is good for that. But I think the Franklin overall, it made us a little bit more consistent getting to the kitchen and a bit more consistent at the kitchen line with dinks and moving the ball around. Uh, so I don't know.
Well,
I think
the
maybe I like the Franklin. I
for
don't know.
sure. Well, the word is on the street that PPA. I don't know if this is true, but PPA is thinking about going to Franklin. So MLP would be Vulcan and PPA would be Frankie. I think from a fan experience, I think the points look better. There's definitely more transition from like defense to offense and vice versa. I know my shoulder after Sunday was pretty trash trying to put that
Love that.
freaking Franklin ball away. But I think just with power paddles, paddle tech, and the game speeding up, I think the best way to neutralize all that obviously is to keep the paddles where they are and to kind of cap the power. But to go with a ball that's a lot more forgiving. So I think the Franklin ball makes a lot of sense. I know personally for my own doubles game, I like it. I feel like it definitely makes my hands a little sharper, if you know what I mean. It seems like there's more dwell time too. Like the ball's heavier, it's easier to get down. I can block. I probably don't trust my swing as much in transition unless I'm like really closing off of it. So I was blocking a bit more in transition, I feel like. But overall, it seems like hand battles are longer. Points are drawn out. It really shows like the physicality with certain players as well, going with the Franklin ball. I am a huge fan of the Franklin. So I know for singles, I'm not getting as much on my drive and the ball doesn't come off as hot. But I feel like it's a little easier to shape the ball, whether it's singles or playing dubs. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if PPA does go with the Franklin because if they do, I think some of these tennis players that are coming in are just some of the players that are winning right now with like blind power. Obviously, it's going to be a tougher ball game to kind of blast through people if you're using a very soft Franklin ball.
Bring back some more of that cat and mouse style play and grindiness. I mean, if you're almost like pulling or putting out your shoulder, indoors with no conditions, and then you take a Franklin ball outside. I mean, I remember like the best example was the Franklin was the ball for US Open, and it was like so hot and humid.
Yeah.
Oh, insane, right? And so
the ball is like mash.
And
points last forever.
It's true.
I mean,
It's
my
true.
gosh.
And so, I mean,
Survival
and being
of the
that
fittest.
most of your tournaments are outside, right? You're going to see that. But I do think, it showcases a different level of play just for viewers, too.
For sure. It's better.
So, for sure.
And two, I'm a huge fan of indoor pickleball. Like we just played at Masters in the middle of January, and there was a couple of days where it was blowing like 30 miles an hour. And just how light that plastic ball is, like even if it's blowing 10 or 15 miles an hour, it just kind of ruins play,
It does. Yeah.
So, yeah, if we went with a more forgiving ball indoors, I think that's the best look.
For sure.
So you think, where we got 2 golds that's all right.
That's it, baby. Keep Lacy and I indoors. Okay, mixed day is always indoors.
Don't change a thing, please.
Same conditions every time.
Give it to me. Give me indoor. Give me Franklin.
Oh, I was surprised. Even Gabe, I think Gabe in an interview said the same thing. He's like, I like it inside.
Yeah, yeah. And Gabe's singles game, he hits a lot of like hybrid drops. That ball
does, yeah.
definitely suits the singles game.
For sure.
So we played at the convention center right downtown, which is pretty cool. It was like 10 minutes away from our hotel.
Yeah.
There was 13 indoor courts. Championship court was packed and rocking the whole weekend. Or actually,
standing room only. That was packed.
During singles day, it was a little dead. But Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was a packed house. It was spectators all over. There was a lady that was in my clinic on Monday that was at the event all weekend long, and she was holding up this whiteboard.
Whiteboard, ingenious. Why haven't we thought of that?
Perfect idea.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, you don't need to make all these signs. You literally mid-match can change your.
You make
change
one.
Your voice.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
smart. It was so good. But yeah, her one-liners were pretty good. You guys played. I think she said 5 bedroom cardio equals endurance for 5 sets. Was one was really good.
That's great.
For Gabe in your match, I think she wrote, Gabe, the beaches of Melbourne love you too. So all of those little ones. So it was pretty great.
It was. K-Mac, tell me, what did you think about the viewing experience and the commentators being so fired up?
Yeah, no, we talked a little bit about this. I mean, the energy, and I've obviously commentated a bit myself, and I think yes, you want to be educated and provide the analysis, but you always have to be energetic and let the people know that it's exciting what you're watching. And some of the U.S. commentators do a better job, of that than others. But I thought everyone, you could feel the excitement. I thought they were also very educated as well. So I think we need to recruit a couple of those Aussies with that buttery Aussie accent to come over to the States. And
God, it sounds so
and-
sweet.
But no, I thought they did a great job.
For sure, very much so. Lace, what did you think about the venue? Did you like it?
I did, yeah. I was I guess a little apprehensive about it being one indoors in the summer. In
Right.
Australia, I was kind of looking forward to a little bit of sun. Of course, as we
Get some
have
vitamin D in your life.
as we have established, we like indoors, so that was all good. Also a little apprehensive about the pickle roll in the convention center. I wasn't sure, how consistent the bounce would be, if there would be lots of like dead spots and stuff. But honestly, the courts were great. We didn't have to play on the temp nets that quite a few of the courts were on.
Which was nice.
Yeah, which was nice. Even like streaming on on Grandstand and SC1, it's Showcase 1.
Yeah.
It was just like an iPhone thing, but it was still available online, which was great. I don't know. It sounded like the people in charge of PPA Australia had to kind of throw it up pretty quickly, and I think it was great. I thought they did a good job with the venue, with the schedule, with allowing getting us on center, and I thought center court itself was great. I think my only complaint, I mean, it's a convention center, so I think the lighting wasn't ideal for pickleball. It felt a little bit dark in there.
For sure.
But once you got used to it, I thought they put on a great show.
Yeah, I would say for sure. Shout out to Adam and Sanj, who
Yes,
put
yes, yes.
the lead PPA Australia and put it all together. I mean, I think Sanj, her background, we got to ride with her to an event, so it was cool. We got to talk to her some more. But yeah, it was beach volleyball. She played herself, but so well connected in the event space and running things like that. And so even though PPA was new for them and they had come to the States, I think, and shadowed a few tournaments, I think it showed just their level of experience in putting other events together. They rolled with it. I mean, it was so efficient. Match times were efficient. Like, things ran. People weren't waiting along too long. I mean, all that stuff was really good. I think if anything, they just learned that like they need a bigger grandstand court. There were people standing room only. So so I think just making it a little bigger and maybe going outside. I think the other thing too is that they said that, Melbourne, it's still pretty new there. So there's not a lot of places to play or bigger venues, but in like Queensland, I believe, they said there's a lot more pickleball. So maybe just moving it around a little bit. But no, I thought they did a great job.
I heard all the best courts are up in the Gold Coast. That's I guess
Gold
they
Coast
go.
it seems like where is where it's at.
There we go.
Apparently it's
Yeah.
like very tropical, almost like a Hawaii, and seems beautiful. I know my buddy Brock, who has lived down there for like the last 10 years. Brock and I actually played college tennis together. Shout out to to our boy Brock. Last time I saw Brock was kind of cool was actually during Brock was in my wedding back in 2019. So I hadn't seen this guy for like 5 or 6 years. And yeah, it was cool. Got to spend some time with him, and he came to the tourney. He kind of showed us around and ate at some good restaurants.
It was perfect.
Nice to have a local down there.
It was perfect timing because Brock is actually moving to Adelaide. So he had just finished work. So he was off work and just kind of packing up their house and stuff. And him and his partner are moving to Adelaide. But Brock is a sommelier, I think is how you pronounce it. But he does wine and
specialist.
Wine and everything there. So knew all the best places to eat and kind of go out. So it was just fun to spend some time with him, and him take so much time. Like, he took us to the beach. I think we drove like an hour and a half away.
Went to like this cool little vineyard.
Yeah, went to a vineyard, did a wine tasting, went to the beach, which crazy thing, random fact, but like in Australia, they have these things called like their beach shacks basically, and there's no power or anything. It literally looks like a little shed on the beach, and people pay like up to $500,000. It's pretty insane to have this little beach shed. But we got to see.
Own it?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Silly, but you can't actually live there. You
can't, and there's no power or anything. But you store all your stuff there, and you kind of have this like claim on the beach a little bit. So that was cool to see, and they're all painted different colors. So that was kind of unique. But yeah, he took us out a few nights. We ended up going to like a nightclub called Section 8, which was such a cool experience. It literally is in an alleyway, tons of street art, tin roof, like no walls.
Such a mixed bag of people there too.
Playing, I think it's like reggae music. And it was crazy as we're there. We're like having drinks, having fun. Dancing, and all of a sudden it just starts pouring rain, and it's so surreal. You've got like rain pouring down on this tin roof. People are dancing everywhere. Drinks are good. I mean, just
reggae music.
It was such a special, cool experience. But so definitely shout out and thank you to Brock for giving us those experiences.
So funny story. I guess it's not too funny, but I ended up pulling my adductor muscle. And this was like round 1 in singles. So first match on Thursday. Shout out to the medical staff at the venue there.
Mel and
Nat, because they were great and they worked on me way too often. But so I had my new Skechers shorts on, and the liner is a little tight, obviously. And so where your adductor muscle kind of starts, it starts kind of up high near my Weibos, if you know what I mean. So they couldn't get to that area. So I swear to God, as I was in medical, I had to take my shorts off, bend over, push all my stuff over to the left.
I had to hold the towel strategically, like
I'm getting
one
a
cheek
prostate
over.
exam. I swear to God, yeah. And they taped me up, and anyhow, so when I felt like a pop back there. And right away looked at Meg, and that was probably like the first time I've actually cried on a pickleball court.
Yeah.
Don't know if it was like the shock of getting hurt or like having PTSD just from like the last couple of years of always being hurt. But yeah, so after the match, went and got taped up, kind of played through it on Thursday. Thursday was like the most painful, and then progressively throughout the weekend, it got better.
Yep, and the pain started moving, and so they were like, that's great news because it's probably most likely not a tear, maybe just a strain. So as it was like moving around, things were getting better, so it was good.
Shout out to Pickleball Palace. Kind of cool. It's a nice little venue there in Melbourne. They have 5 indoor courts, and then they have like a little wellness side to it. So each morning and night, I was using their hot tub and cold plunge. So it's definitely nice to have services like that.
Yeah.
And actually, there was another venue that we played at called Pickle Play, and same thing. It was like half wellness, half pickles. And
and they have like 8 courts inside, and they were great because they hosted our free clinic. So thank you to them. They did such a great job. But both venues are fairly new, I believe, like open within the last 6 months or so. So yeah, cool to see. But hot tubs are not really a thing. Very common anyways in Australia, or at least in Melbourne. So it was nice that Pickleball Palace had one, so we could sneak there every day before the tournament started.
Use that little tub.
Yeah. Yep.
Let's see here. What else, Mama?
I feel like we need more of those in the U.S. We need more pickleball.
Right. I mean, for like an athlete, it's like one-stop shopping. You know, you can get your pickle in, get your recovery in after. Just Makes a lot of sense.
Practice and the recovery.
Bada bing, bada boom.
No,
Bada bing, bada boom,
well, it's
girl.
so funny. I've said
Come on.
this before, but Tyson,
5-set killers.
Yeah, right. You've been playing for 9 years, and from the second I met you, you've always been doing like deep tissue and recovery stuff. We got right away into like Beamer, blood flow therapy,
Just like Tardio, right?
all these, like all these different things. And it's funny because I feel like most guys on tour, it's slowly changing, obviously, but I feel like a lot of the young guys, they're just like, oh, I don't need that, or I'm invincible, or I don't feel that sore the next day. But I think it goes to show, obviously, you're one of the older players on tour, and you're still, keeping up. So
hanging on by a thread.
Gotta work on the recovery aspect for sure.
Yeah.
Hanging on by that strained adductor.
Push your stuff over to the left.
The best part of it was Tyson taking off the tape that night. That was a scene.
Tell us all about it.
Scene.
Man,
we're back in our...
Manscaped was used at the end of the night. Let's just say that.
We're back in our Airbnb. He wants me to help him take the tape off. It was like taking a Band-Aid off a little kid. Like, he was screaming and crying. So finally, he's like, just leave the room. I got to do it. So
leave the room.
I left the room. I hear him, like, screaming as he's, like, ripping it off fast. And then he's like, okay, they're going to tape me again tomorrow. He's like, I need you to help me. And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, can you shave me down there? So yeah, Manscaped was used, and I was thinking the whole time, if anybody ever knew what it takes in the background to support an athlete,
The life of a pro athlete,
right?
Oh my gosh. But
yeah,
Mama's on
supporting cast is. You need that supporting cast.
Mama's on duty.
But we made it through. But no, it's good to be home though. It was a great trip. We would definitely go again, but we missed our babies terribly. Next time, we've already figured out we can stop in Hawaii on the way and make it into 2 8-hour flights. Right, so if we want to bring kiddos, that might be the more cost-effective way, and also where they can actually make it over. But no, it's so good to be home, and I think just taking a little bit of time off. I think you guys were talking about it, but taking off like 4 or 5 days from pickle and just like focusing on family and recovery, and then looking
jet
forward.
lag.
Yeah, that too. And then heading to Mesa, I guess, looking forward to
Mesa. In about 10 days. And Lacy, we're not playing Tucson this weekend, correct?
God, no. I am not playing Tucson this weekend.
There's a handful
of
of pros.
A little breather.
Not for a 2 gold winner, okay?
Right.
She takes about 3 weeks off, okay?
Yeah, that's what I need. That's my new recipe. That's right.
And then, Kyle, we've got some camps coming up. If you wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Tucson,
yeah, we
Arizona.
have Tucson in just a couple of days. Still have some spots left, so getting ready for that one, and then have one following the PPA in Mesa. So if you are an Arizona resident, you can see us twice.
Yeah,
a couple weeks apart. But yeah, have spots available in both.
Okay, and get over the website.
Get more of that premature ejaculation.
Right.
100%. And then
I always tell the guys, I say, keep it in your pants, okay? But you guys
Pack her down.
Yeah, right. Pack her down. Okay. But you can sign up by going to TysonMcGuffin.com.
Yes, get signed up. One other one to note too, Tyson, doesn't teach as much anymore. I think you're teaching like 2 or 3 this year. So McKinney, Texas is also coming up March 17th and 18th. So Tyson and Kyle. So you get both, which is pretty cool at that one. So that one's filling up quick as well. So for sure, get to our website and get signed up as soon as possible.
Also, the new ViperCorp Pro Skechers 2.0s are out. There's different colors out, so get your asses over to Skechers.com and buy the new ones.
And to everybody in Australia who we got so many people coming up to us saying, we're so bummed we can't buy the ViperCorp here. We can't find them here. They do. We actually met with the Australian Skechers team, and they just bought a whole bunch. So they are on the Skechers website. You just have to go to skechers.com.au. And there are some. I think their original pink and greens are on there, along with a few other colors. And then soon they'll bring on the 2.0s as well. But you can get them in Australia now. So good news there.
And Mama, there's been a ton of people asking on the Australian vlog that's coming out this week. Is there any bedroom cardio on the vlog?
You'll just have to tune in and see. We'll just leave it at that. But no, just
that's been a common question that I've been getting.
It's kind of funny.
on
No.
Ratings are going to go through the roof.
Yeah,
They're like, what's your routine in the bedroom?
Oh my gosh, we had some guys, some grown men,
It's fast
literally
and it's very long.
message and say, "Hey, can we get the bedroom cardio outline first so we can play 5-setters?" I'm like, oh my gosh, really?
Send you the bedroom cardio workout.
Yeah.
What's your
moves.
OnlyFans tag?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Hidden.
But no, we did release one vlog that was kind of our trip over there, and then we'll have another one there and coming back. So keep an eye out for that. And do know as well, Pickleball TV is got kind of one form of the vlog, but kind of a behind the scenes, like less edited version you'll find on YouTube as well. So if you watch it on Pickleball TV, then you can watch a different episode on.
Where can they find that, Mama?
On YouTube. YouTube, it's Making McGuffins.
Making McGuffins.
Yep, on YouTube. And then for Pickleball TV, it's Making McGuffin Mondays, which they play Best of Tyson McGuffin, which is kind of cool. You get to watch his best matches, so you can watch. Probably now they'll add Australia to that, but before you can watch the Triple Crown matches, you can watch some of the other like big ones throughout your career.
Yeah.
And then it rolls into Making McGuffins at 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern every Monday. And if you download the Pickleball TV app as well, I think it's cheap. It's like, $59 for the whole year.
Yeah.
And you get every tournament. There's all pro courts are streaming, I believe. And what's cool about watching it on demand on the app is you can actually rewind matches and fast forward, where obviously if you're watching on Pickleball TV, just the channel on your TV, you can't do any of that. So cool. You can go back, reference old matches as well. And then all of this other programs are on demand as well. So you can watch old episodes of Making McGuffins or some of the teaching tips. So it's definitely worth it. I would check it out.
K-Mac, before we get off here, tell me about your thoughts on the recent MLP trades.
Yeah, it's going to be wild to see, who gets dropped and in the money aspect of it and keeping
how does
players
all
is
that
something
look?
that's going to be really hard to predict.
Does every team have to drop somebody? I'm still very confused, as with most
every team
players.
has to drop somebody. So these trades, some of them may be for just cash, where they're still maybe going to drop the player that they received. We traded Vivian Glausman for Jackie Kawamoto, so we're bringing Jackie back home. Sad to see Vivian go. She's a great person and obviously a great player. She's very informed. Just came off of a gold medal, but we had a great run with Jackie, and excited to see her and Rachel and what they can do on the court together. And then CJ Klinger and Riley got swapped. So I think you're definitely taking more the veteran route for New York, but planning on the upside for Klinger, who looked pretty
Very good.
awesome in Australia. So there's a lot that remains to be seen, and we're trying our best to predict other teams' moves. But everybody's going to have to drop somebody, so the bidding is going to get pretty intense come next month.
K-Mac, do you know when that closes? The trades and the drops and all that?
I believe the middle of this month, the teams have to announce kind of who they're dropping, and then the bidding auction is going to be early March.
Got it. Cool. And Lacy, you're on a team with a new ownership group, correct?
Yeah. The AZ Drive just got bought by I think Charles from Proton, and I guess a few other people from Proton. So they seem to be. I mean, they're all in on pickleball for sure, but also on MLP and the AZ Drive. Yeah.
That's cool.
That's
And then there was some news about the Frisco Pandas. Did you guys see that?
They're doing tryouts. Is that right?
Is that what it was? I heard.
So Jared Paul is now overseeing their
Yeah.
operations. But yeah, I thought I saw the same thing where, so now with MLP, we're going to have, an additional guy and gal on our rosters. And I think they mentioned that maybe, I'm assuming for that additional spot, like that third guy and gal, they're going to hold tryouts for it, which is cool. I think it provides a pathway for an amateur, that's maybe dabbling in pro to be seen and you compete against their peers. But I don't think we're going to be doing something like that. We're probably going to take somebody that that we've scouted. But I think it's a cool kind of PR move for pickleball.
And K-Mac, tell me, do you think the subs will actually ever get used?
That's what we're waiting
tough.
to kind of to know the rule for sure. Because like, let's say you've got a really good squad, but nobody on your squad really plays singles. It might not be a bad idea
Right, right.
to take someone who can just consistently sub in for the Dream Breaker if you're allowed to do that. So we're kind of waiting to get all the details because it matters quite a bit, when you're thinking about drafting strategy.
No, for
Right,
sure.
because my understanding was that you have to set your lineup at the start of the day, right? So before the competition day. So essentially,
The day before,
possibly
yeah, I believe.
the day
But, yeah.
before. So in one MLP event, you could essentially use a different 4 players each day. Is that right?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I don't see a lot of teams, mixing and matching. I mean, I could be wrong,
Right, right.
from the doubles, but maybe like a team like Carolina, if they keep Colin, you're obviously Ben and Colin are a great men's team, but Colin, isn't the best mixed player. You could get a more, athletic attacking style guy as your third male, and maybe just have Colin play men's and have your other guy possibly play mixed. I mean, it's a strategy that we could potentially see, depending on how those rules are written.
Okay, Meg, tell me, if you were the ownership group of Carolina, and you obviously know that Ben and Colin aren't playing together anymore, what would be your move there as far as trades?
Yeah, no, it's tough. It's tough. I probably would do what I just said. I
Right.
probably would keep Colin because
Okay.
they're going to be a really tough out. They play so well together. Anything
Yeah.
can happen in an MLP, but I think we've seen Ben play with other people. If the chemistry isn't there, that's it's not always just a lock. So I'd probably keep Colin. He doesn't cost anything to keep. Drop one of the gals that they have,
Okay.
and then I'd go with a guy
Singles player.
specifically earmarked to play, possibly singles or mixed doubles, more of a faster style.
But speaking to that, anything can happen at MLP. What do you guys feel about the scoring changing? Getting rid of rally scoring and putting in traditional. And it's just one
Lacy,
game
what do
to
you
11?
think?
It's just one game to 11, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I think rally sparring was, one of the things that made MLP different and special. And it's
Right.
yes, it's like kind of crazy and chaotic, and a game can go by like that, but it's part of what made it unique and fresh and fun. So I don't know. We'll see how it works out once we actually get going here. But initial thought is I'm not a fan.
No, for sure.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I would say the only knock I had against rally scoring was just the idea of you picked a player to play either the right side or the left side.
Right.
I
Stacking.
liked the idea of having to unwind the stack because now it presents, maybe we play a little faster if we
No,
know
of
they're
course.
unwinding. So
For sure.
strategically, I felt like that was missing, and I didn't know a great way to fix that. But I agree with Lacey. Like I thought rally scoring made it unique. I thought it was really a win for MLP. I get why they did it, but yeah, I guess time will tell to see what people think this season.
I agree. I think rally was just so exciting, and there were so many upsets, if you
Drama,
will, or
tells about a
drama.
story. Not always the best team wins.
Correct. Yeah,
Right,
and I
right.
think it just added components that obviously PPA doesn't have, and I think it's important in a way, and maybe I'm wrong here, but to keep the products different, like different enough, right? That really makes you want to tune in to watch both. I think it's going to help. Obviously, there's going to be less PPAs during the MLP season. I think there's only 2, and I believe that's just because of contract purposes. But moving into next year, I don't think there's going to be any. I think it's the goal to have like no PPA tournaments during the MLP season, which I think is so smart because I think people are going to be able to tune in for a set amount of time and really focus on, oh, this is MLP following the teams. It's going to be less confusing.
Sure.
I think
Easier to follow.
I think for players, the chemistry and being able to practice and play with your same partners over and over, like in a compact season. So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. But I think for viewership, for sponsors, all of that, I think it makes a lot of sense. So, but yeah, wondering if rally scoring kind of changes that, standard scoring. But it is rally right on the Dream Breaker. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It stays
I
rally.
think so. Yeah.
Give the people what they want, right? Oh, come on.
Got a love-hate relationship with those Dream Breakers.
Yeah, Dream Breaker.
It's a roll of the dice, right? I mean,
Yeah.
anything
It
can
really
happen
is.
out there.
Love to watch them, hate to play 'em.
Yeah, right.
Unless you're on a good Dream Breaker team. I feel like you've been lucky to always be on a good
sure.
Dream Breaker team. So not that you want to go there,
keep
but
fitting
if you
that
do, it's like, okay, we got a good chance at this.
Right. Okay, well, Lacy and K-Mac, thanks for coming on. Appreciate you guys. K-Mac, I will be seeing you maybe in Mesa.
Ooh,
And Lacy,
yeah.
I will definitely see you in Mesa. Dun, dun, dun.
I'll be there.
Keep it going, girl.
Take my 10 days off and then I'll practice when I get there.
Perfect. Perfecto. Mama, love you. My name is Tyson McGuffin. This is the McGuffin Show, and we will see you guys next episode.